All right. So thank you so much, James, for such a wonderful time you give to a living archive. And hello, everyone, and welcome to a living archive. I think now we can go live. Greeting you wherever you're coming from, wherever you streaming us live from. Drop in the comment where the country you're coming from, and we are delighted to have you with us for week 3 of August. Still is of a living archive, and the monthly theme has now become a belonging first, the DEI. Then when we talk about the DEI, it's all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Then we are unveiling missing stories. If you're joining us live, tell us where you are connecting from, as I've been saying, and more importantly, tell us what is one thing you would redesign to make a cultural institutions where more welcoming, and drop in the comments. So we'll bring some of your response into the conversation, and you always welcome to keep on posting, keep on commenting on each section of this conversation. I think this is the way to make it interactive. Over the past 2 weeks, we have been building a very intentional journey, asking what creates belonging. Then we move it to more uncomfortable question: whose stories are missing? Today, we take the next steps, because once we recognize that stories are missing, we have to ask, what are the systems that decide which stories are embedded, remembered, represented, and of course preserved? And from that perspective, it brings us to today's conversation, where designing institutions where everyone belongs. We're going to assess how to design institutions where everyone belongs. And because perhaps the challenge is not simply that some people are absent from institutions, perhaps the challenge is that some of our institutions were never designed with their participation in mind. It's a great honor and pleasure today. We are bringing this conversation into the world of cultural infrastructure, storytelling, and digital experiences. Our guests, James Opere Angela, the founder and director of Story Ghana OCC, working online cultural center, working across cultural infrastructure, strategic communications, digital storytelling, food, identity, and social impact. James brings the intersection of this conversation, because storytelling is not simply about telling stories. It's about who has the power to shape the narrative, who gets to participate, and what happens to those stories at once, intercultural and digital systems. James, welcome to A Living Archive.
Thank you very much, Elisha, for this wonderful opportunity and for the amazing work that you're doing in creating this platform that is focused towards preserving our rich cultural heritage. I'm privileged to be here today to share this wonderful moment in this very important meeting. And I believe at the end of the meeting, we are going to all have an understanding and reach an agreement and see way forward how we're gonna work together and make this dream come true. So to begin with, I'm going to talk a bit about what we do at Stories Ghana.
James, thank you so much. Actually, that's the next move we have to go with. And thanks for such a bit of introduction, introducing yourself and feeling such a warm welcome. And let's start personally, James. When you hear the word belonging, what does it mean to you? Particularly when we are talking about culture and heritage. Maybe your case study as a Kenyan who's now based in Italy could be something tangible to let the followers, the philo heritage preservationists really understood what the word belonging means to you and what does it mean, particularly when you're talking about culture and the heritage. And as you're going to be replying, thanks for Lilo. Nima said that he broadcast his live streaming, catching us live from Tanzania. Hamjambo, karibu sana dada. Dada ama kaka? Nadhani kwamba ni kaka yule. Karibuni sana. Sasa muda wako kaka James.
Asante sana Elisha. Nafikiria nitarudi katika lugha ya Kimombo kwa maana wajua Kiswahili ni lugha chetu cha taifa, lakini hatujakinawilisha.
Could even that language really explain what a belonging is all about?
Okay, to me, when I hear the word belonging, it gives me that sense of how do you say it? Sense of belonging is like rights to acquire, right to be respected, to be identified with, and the roots attached within an environment where I feel safe, I feel recognized, and I feel I have a voice. That, in a nutshell, is what I can say it's belonging according to my perspective. Yeah.
Wow. Such a matter of really, that's what I mean by belonging, and that's why belongingness comes first, and then the diversity with an inclusion later. James, is belonging something an institution can create, or it's something communities already possess that institutions must learn to recognize?
Belonging is something hereditary where institutions, they cannot create it. And I'd rather say like institutions, they can create a narrative around belonging, but they cannot claim to own it because it is out of their control. And it is very, very interesting because we respect the institution because they are custodians of a lot of cultural information. And most of us, we are an orientation of this information that are within this institution. But now when we talk about belonging is another thing that I personally agree that institutions, they cannot own any belonging. Wow. And I stand to be challenged about that.
Wow. Yeah. Well, actually, if I catch you well, it is something that communities already possess, that institutions must learn to recognize. And that's all about even the bottom-up approach that is really critical around the heritage preservations. Thank you so much, James. Back to your work.
Yes.
It has shown that you work deeply with storytelling and cultural expression, and but every story exists within a system. I think you catch what I'm saying. And there are people. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yeah. As I've been saying, every story exists within a system.
Yeah.
There are people who collect it, document it, interpret it, package it, and publish it, and sometimes even monetize it.
Yeah, that's true.
My question goes to you as who gets to shape the story?
It's quite unfortunate because we are living in a commercial world where we are materially driven, And this brings about the issue of ownership. And when we look at it deeply, ownership comes along with so many things, whereby there is a lot of, maybe we talk about policy and many other things that a local person cannot understand it well. And that's where now it brings us back to the same question of belonging, where someone who knows how to go about policy, someone who knows how to go, who knows the laws, someone who knows a lot of other things that a local person doesn't know, this person is the one who consolidates all these things we are talking about, like the heritage, the stories, and things that are naturally belonging to us, are now consolidated and put somewhere and put under locked, and we say they belong to an institution or to an individual because of those modalities I've talked about: the law, public, education. There are so many things. There are so many things here. But from me, I normally give my perspective from the common knowledge, because common knowledge, you don't need to go study it in the university. Common knowledge is what you see and how you interpret and how you act. For example, let's say I'm seeing the dark clouds above and I have my clothes outside. Common knowledge will tell me I remove my clothes because the rain is coming. I don't need to study that at any school. So when we talk about belonging, I look at it from that perspective, as simple as that. Let's leave policies, let's leave laws, let's leave all these things that have made our lives so difficult. And as a result of these things I'm talking about, that's where we are. It has took us where we are right now. Yes, I'm sorry to say this, and I remember some time back when we had a forum with some of the young people, we came to a conclusion and we said the elite society are the problem in our society. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because in the village where I come from, the member of parliament who represents us has a PhD. He studied in Harvard University. I mean, people give you leadership. People give you all this merit to lead them because of this kind of background. But now the reality on the ground, the common knowledge I'm talking about, there are no roads, environment is being destroyed, the agricultural practice. I mean, even just simple common ideas you cannot share with these people, because even reaching them is very hard. So sometimes my question, as in my perspective, does it mean like the society rewards all these things I've talked about? Because after I acquire all this education, I'm very knowledgeable about policies, I don't use this thing for the benefit of the society. I use this thing because as much as I have them, I get rewarded with a prestigious job, a very big salary, and I lose it. So that's where now people who are just local people, they keep wondering, what's happening? Where's the problem? And I'm very happy to share that right now. The kind of revolution that is coming, revolution now, it is about information revolution. The young generation have come to realize political change does not change people's lives. We just need to change our mentality. We just need to live with the common knowledge of seeing things and doing things right, the way I've just given my simple example. If rain is coming, my clothes are outside, and my neighbor's clothes are outside, and my neighbor is not there, I will collect my clothes together with the clothes of my neighbors, so that when he comes and he's worried, like, oh, my clothes were outside, he comes and says, James, I cannot find my clothes. I say, I rescued them. I have them here. Can you see how that kind of life can be simple? And that is the same perspective I'm using with my project, Stories Ghana Online Cultural Center. Because I believe culture is not something that is static. Culture is dynamic. At Stories Ghana Online Cultural Center, we advocate for a real, living, digital cultural experience. What do I mean by that? We pick things that we see. Because when I was growing up in Kenya, we have 42 tribes. And as kids, we were taught, like, people come from this community, this is their food. And the people come from this community, this is their food. Me, I come from Luo community. I was told my staple food is fish. We used to sing a song like, if you go to the Luo land, you'll eat fish. If you go to Kikuyu land, you will eat githeri. If you go... But I came to realize, if you go to Kikuyu land, there are rivers. Nowadays, even there are fishermen there. I have eaten fish from that area. You go to the coastal region where we were told those people eat mbaazi. We eat fish. Why do I go to the sea? Why do I go to the coastal region as a tourist? I normally go there to eat fish. But still the narrative is those people's food is not fish. Fish is from the lakeside region. A person called Luo is the expert of the fish. So I can say these are the things that young people have come to realize, like, there's a problem. So now this is the right moment for us. We have to rewrite our history. And rewriting our history...
Absolutely.
Rewriting
the paradigm
our history,
shift, access to information, and decoding. Because most of information are decoded, particularly the one our ancestors have left within these indigenous knowledge systems, almost re-encoded, and it requires another approach to decode it, and therefore a responsible citizenship starting, and a story written.
Yes,
and is
exactly.
shaped then.
That's the right one.
Thank you so much, James. Actually, kind of a follow-up to that question of who gets to shape the story. Where do you think the greatest imbalance exists? In who tells the story? Who tells the story? Is it who owns the story, or who interprets it? Or maybe who benefits from it?
The biggest imbalance is who tells the story. Because even some of the stories are told without you being aware.
Without the consent of the owner.
You are not consulted for your story to be told. And I think this now brings us to the theme. One of the
and the academics and the scientific are now proving the things by writing. So the oral traditions now have...
Because nowadays we question. We listen to a story and we say, who wrote that story? And it is my story. I was not consulted. But now also there's another thing, another trend that has come now in this world. Because in history we said we started with it was the modern world, then we went to the meta-modern. It is like there are terms that have been given. Now it has reached like the world has reached where we say not all news as its target audience. So Elisha, when I publish my news and you feel it does
its craft of it have a purpose.
Yes, you feel it does not smell nice to your ears, then it does. You are not the right audience.
So sad.
And that is how we are going forward. That is how the world is taking the direction. And thank you to technology. There's something called technology, which right now it has advanced as compared to when we were still growing up, when our stories were being written without our consent. There was no technology.
Yeah,
Information, it
actually,
was
that's where
there.
we're heading. That's where we're heading, step and steps. We're starting from the community, now reaching to the institutional level. Let's move from the individual stories to the institutions. We heard how you came up with the Sigan
Yes.
Online Cultural Center, and
Yeah.
now we draw from your personal experience, and now we're heading to understand well how Story Sigan Online Cultural Center looks like in terms of the institution. How actually, as we've been saying, as that we're moving from individual story to the institutions,
Yeah.
we have realized that the museums, archives, universities, cultural centers, and increasingly digital platforms often position themselves as custodians of collective memory.
Yeah.
What makes an institution genuinely belong to the community it serves?
To answer that question, I will be very careful because, first, these institutions, they are centuries old institutions,
Mm.
and they are established within some legal framework. Now we are going to that language
Aha.
that has brought us where we are. As we are stuck in that language. They have been established within a legal framework, and
Maybe
you can,
maybe to really understand how this institution in one will much westernized,
yeah,
let's draw from how our indigenous knowledge system.
yeah. I've lost you, Alicia. Are you there? Hello? Hello? We lost you. Hello? I'm sorry we lost Alicia.
Oh,
Alicia,
yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think the network in Tanzania. Are you in Tanzania or where?
Rwanda, of course. Huh?
I think your network is a bit unstable.
Yeah. I've been experiencing it, but now we're coming back alive. and I've been responding the critical question, as I can emphasize it, and we've been drawing from indigenous knowledge systems and how the structure traditional institutions were looking like in comparison to the current one, which mostly westernized in one way or another. Back to the question, I was trying to see how can we really having sorry. Yeah, we've seen the archive, the museum, university, the cultural centers, and increasingly digital platforms often position themselves as custodians of collective memory. Wondering what makes institution genuinely belong to the community it serves.
As I said before, they've been established within a legal framework, and it is a tall order. We can take the whole day if we trace how they came into operation. I appreciate what they are doing. They're doing a good kind of work, and what I would say, like our parents were born, they went there. They paid some fee and accessed the galleries, which means they supported this institution during their lifetime. Us also, we've been going there paying, which means we are the investors in this institution. We've been paying. I have now my kids also, I take them to the museums, I take them, and it's all about payment, So from the business perspectives, commercial perspectives, they are business, and I don't condemn them. They're doing a good job in the community because they have a place. Without them, they have a place in the community. So my perspective is whatever we are doing as people who have come up, we are just complementing what they are doing. We are not challenging them, but sometimes me personally, I've had some meetings, some engagements with some of their representatives, and I came to realize they look at us like we are challenging what they are doing. We are not challenging them. If they are following this meeting, I'm putting very clear, we appreciate what you are doing. You are doing good job to the society. We acknowledge the information you have there. So we are just here to complement your work and
to bring back in life.
Yes, and we are opening our arms.
This is all about a living archive. Yeah.
Yes, our arms are open. Come, we work together. We are not here to challenge each other.
Definitely.
Yeah, we are complementing what they are doing. And maybe I will just a quick how I came up with my idea, because nobody told me this thing. I just sat down. So after visiting these places, I came to realize there's something missing. It's the same routine. I have a friend who is now in Kenya. I'm seeing there is status in WhatsApp. It's the same things when I was small boy, the Nairobi National Park, the elephants being given the milk, the elephant show. I have those photos in my archives here. So that guy is now there. The same things I'm seeing is seeing the same things. Giraffe Center, the giraffe being fed, So we are just trying. We are trying to make people to be attracted to this institution. That is why we are coming in and we are opening. We are always sending them requests. Can we have a meeting? Can we collaborate? Can we work together? But to me, I'm seeing it is becoming so difficult. And that is not a problem, because here we are creating our thing. We are creating our infrastructure. So now it will be a choice, thanks to technology. Someone who wants to go to the museum, physical museum, it is your right. Because you go pay, see, if you want to access our digital infrastructure, click in our link, find what we are presenting. We are just
Yeah,
doing the same
yeah, yeah,
thing. We are doing the same
yeah.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
that's really meaningful, James. As you be coming up with how you came up with the idea of a Stoli Sigan Online Cultural
Online
Center.
cultural center.
I'd like to appreciate first some people who have been giving some of their comments. Mr. Imable, thank you. Your support is really meaningful to us. And David comes in DM, said, such a good encouragement words. We thank you so much. Kind of a follow-up to lead your response on this. Is having community representation enough? Maybe the Stolisi Gun Online Cultural Center as a case study is going to elaborate further.
Yes, having community representation, I can say it is more than enough. And why am I saying that? When I came with this idea of a digital cultural center, I took advantage of the technology that is existing. Because right now we have AI, we have open source, where I just need to create an account and I apply my knowledge and I create whatever idea I have.
Sure.
So I was stuck so this happened after visiting many physical museums and going repeatedly at these places, repeatedly the same things, and I got bored and I said, my goodness, how can this thing be the same? If I want to, when I was in Sweden, there's the police museum. I used to go there, the helicopters. Then after let's say 2 months, I go to Skansen. Skansen is a nice museum. It is a nice place where also we have the bears, these Arctic animals. But it still is always the same thing. Those places are good because they are open air, external places. You breathe in, you interact, you eat a snack. Then I came also to realize nowadays, sometimes when we are bored, our kids and even adults, especially, I don't know much about Africa, what is going on, because I know technology in Africa is very expensive in terms of airtime and all that. But here in Europe,
we're trying.
You are trying, I know, but
to overcome the challenges.
You guys are not spending 24
even
hours.
Even the purchasing power still there.
You guys don't spend hours watching videos on your phone because it's very expensive. But here, that is the trend. In the buses, people don't talk to each other. Everyone is watching either a prank and laughing to themselves, in the train. So I came to realize, how about if we create something like a digital cultural center, a platform and infrastructure that can bring this kind of knowledge, stories, exhibitions, and we mobilize people so that they know these things are there, so that moment you're traveling in a bus, let's say from Milan, you are going to Paris, you have all that time. Instead of wasting your time in pranks that will make you to laugh, you are learning nothing. Okay, I don't know whether you're learning nothing, but me, I've also watched pranks. I've learned nothing. If you tell me, what can we discuss about those pranks? Someone coming and sliding on top of a banana peel. What am I learning there?
You remind me a book that I've read. Actually, useless information. That's the title.
Now we've become consumers of useless information. Consumers of useless information, which means we are abusing the technology that we have. So this is a moment where I can say the technology we have, most of the AI, open source, they are still free. They are still free because this is the testing stage where you are told there's a plan, free plan. I can openly say,
actually,
online
yes, please. As you're expressing this freshness of artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies,
Yes.
keep on also expressing this question: should communities really have decision-making power throughout? Yeah.
Already they have the decision-making power. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'll pose a question to you.
Mm-hmm.
Who gives these decision-making powers? Who should give the right to the community to make a decision-making power? And which decision are these that they need the power to make?
Yeah. Structurally, when you
Yeah,
assess well, you found like the communities are the center of any progress.
yeah,
At the end, you found like who the so-called decision makers are policy makers who say the framework. But this is how the system have been demolished, because before was
yeah.
a community centered. We engage community, through the decision making, not from the final stage, but from the starting point. We assess, we do brainstorming with them. So maybe I don't know if I respond well to your question. However, bottom up approach is critical when it comes to does really should leading communities have decision making power. This is how I think we can embrace the bottom up approach.
The communities have been having decision-making power since from the
Mhm,
beginning.
mhm,
It's only like the decision-making power within the
mhm,
community
mhm,
was centralized.
mhm,
And when the decision-making power is centralized, that is where we say there's no consultation. Decisions are made in boardrooms where me and Alicia we meet, we make a decision, and we
mhm,
push it down the throat of the community. And since the community
mhm,
has been nurtured, like
mhm,
James who lives in Italy or James who
mhm,
lives in France, when he lands
mhm.
in the village, that perception, James has landed. James, me when I was growing up, meeting a guy who has taken a flight. I mean, that guy was extraordinary. We would believe
Hello.
that guy is saying. If that guy says, like, walk without shoes, we will listen to him. Because who are
Yeah.
you? Challenge someone who has taken a flight, someone who has flew. Who are you? So that
Mm,
perception is
mm,
still there. That perception is still there in the village.
mhm.
And the community are still living with this kind of perception. Someone who is driving a Mercedes Benz,
Yeah. Yeah.
who are you to challenge this guy? If this guy
Mm,
comes and makes a decision, you follow without question. You don't have a
mm,
Mercedes, you don't have a Mercedes Benz. Do you know? We still have
mm,
those perception of we judge people
mm,
by what they
mm,
have, what they possess, and that is the problem we still have back in our country and in our village. So the few elites who have
mm,
studied
mm,
this kind of trend have taken
mm.
advantage to manipulate the communities. So I'll go back by
Exploitation.
saying communities had the
Mm,
powers to make decisions from time immemorial, since the beginning of
mm,
time.
mm,
But now, because of
mm,
these kind of things that are happening, that we judge people by what material they have, we judge people by stories. Even me, I can create a narrative. Do you know there are also people who make themselves great
mm.
within a given
Yeah.
narrative? Yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things, narratives,
Mm.
material things. This makes some people to go down.
Sure.
Okay, when
That's why we have a great homework. I mean, activity we have to do, decolonizing the African narratives. But we cannot
yes,
only reshape, decolonize the stories without starting from the educational system, which
hmm,
which all of you been saying, the outcomes and output of that's erupted educational systems. Because someone who's really civilized because they have pursued some of the degrees, some of the foreign knowledge, and
Yes.
undermining the indigenous knowledge, while even their so-called civilization still consider the indigenous knowledge as the founding father of their civilization. It's a time, and that's one among the objectives of a living archive. Trying to polish young Africans' mindset to
Yeah.
still have a self-esteem, back to the roots, respecting. We have everything is required except to bring back that mindset of self-esteem and feel proud of your cultural identity.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I agree with you.
Yeah,
So
this actually pushed me to ask James, what
yes,
does co-curation look like in practice? And where
curation.
should, co-curation.
Okay.
And where should institutional authority end and community authority begin?
I think where the institutional authority ends is where now the community authority begins. Because
Which would be
institutions,
wrong.
the institutions are riding on top of
Yeah.
the society. When
Uh-huh.
let me give you for an example. If an
Uh,
institution close,
uh,
will the society close?
nah.
Let's say
But it depends to the approach of an institution.
let me say today, the National Museums of Kenya, they closed
Mm.
down all over the country. Does it mean the Luo community will close? The
Yeah,
Kikuyu
no,
community
no,
will
no.
close? With us, we will continue with our lives. We will
That's a
continue
living heritage.
creating our traditional music. We will
Mm.
continue creating our food,
Festivals,
our festival. I mean,
ceremonies among.
it will be a non-issue to the community. It is
Sure.
like if a principal of a school pass
Mm.
away, is
Mm.
a non-issue to a student. A
Sure.
student must go through his semesters.
Mm-mm.
So that's why I'm saying institutions are just riding on communities.
Definitely.
So which means
Oh.
communities have a say. But this say that the community they have been sidelined. And that's why many stories are being produced behind them,
Mm.
created, written,
Mm.
manufactured,
Mm.
thrown on them, So these are the kind of things are happening. So back to my Stories Ghana Online Cultural Center. Why did I come
Mm.
up with this? First,
Mm.
I thought maybe I wanted to open a small physical cultural center where I could
Mm.
display things that originate from my community because I
Mm.
love my community. I love my
Mm.
community because it has a very rich cultural heritage, according to me. And
Mm.
I like talking about it from music,
Sure.
from food, from, many stuff. So I was limited to do all this physical kind of structure in terms of finance and all that, then also to get the right people like staff to help me do the whole thing. Then something came to my mind. I said, I have my computer and there's availability of all these platforms. So I realized I had everything. I had the idea, I had the resources. I didn't need any capital. And that is how I started this digital platform. And it's a pilot. It's a pilot. It's a pilot whereby I want to prove that a digital cultural heritage has no boundaries. It can communicate to different people from different parts of the globe. It can consolidate different kind of cultural stories, cultural materials. It can collaborate, it can incorporate, and it can disseminate within no time and reach masses. And through that, it is
Mm.
why I'm here today. And I'm very happy to be meeting people who share the same vision that I have as James. Yeah.
Wow. That's a good response to the question I've asked. What does a cooperation look like in practice? And
Yeah.
I think he responded well how we must engage, design with the community. And this is where institutional authority may start, while the community authority is critical. It's the foundation of any process, authority that an institution may have. I thank you so much, James, for bringing on the table
We've lost you again, Elisha.
for how the Stolisi Ghana Online Cultural Center.
I've lost you once again. I'm sorry, because I know the environment you're operating in is very different in terms of infrastructure and network. So can you hear me, Elisha? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Now I can hear you. So maybe just to conclude,
Yeah.
so I would say like initially, I realized also community has been shut down, and it has been isolated with these institutions, which means there's no way the community can approach this institution because there's a process, a long process. Oh, I don't know, appointment, I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. Even me right now, if I say, okay, I want to go and meet maybe a big guy who is in one of those, it will take maybe a month. The guy is out of the country, the guy is in a meeting, but me, James, I'm here. People meet, I'm always available, I have been approached by so many people in the community. They have a lot of stuff that they want these things to be showcased. They want their stories to be put on board, but they don't know how to approach those institutions. So I'm telling them, I'm available. Bring them. You don't
It might
need
be
to
vice versa.
bring them, and we put them and we celebrate them. Yeah, we are not competing anyone. We are not challenging anyone. And we are also open to those institutions. We are complementing what they cannot extend, what they cannot do. We are complementing to extend this to the society by simply opening doors to the society to join in and bring their stories so that their stories can be listened to. That is what we are doing. Yeah.
That's the power of public-private partnership. And this is how a co-curation may look like in practice. Thank you so much, James. In week 2, we have asked whose stories are missing. But there is another question hiding underneath that one. Who decided what was important enough to preserve in the first place? Hence, I'd like to ask James, what kind of stories do you think cultural institutions have historically struggled to recognize or accommodate?
I think most of the institutions they are. I cannot say they have refused, but I don't know the framework in which they are working on, because they are not updating most of these, most of their documentation, most of these archives are not updated. They trace back to the centuries. That's why I said I'm seeing my friend at the elephant orphanage still sending me videos of the elephant being fed and this is a tourism kind of a show. It is something that I saw when I was a small boy. I took
Innovation.
my little daughter there, the same thing. I have those videos, which means they have become, they are stuck. These institutions are stuck. They are stuck, and they want to be like that, or they don't want to be like that, or maybe they don't know what to do.
You don't even being aware of it.
Yeah. So now they are most of them, they are based only on doing a lot of research work and throwing a lot of paperwork, but they cannot update these galleries. They cannot update them. Then also the society now, technology has made us to believe in something that is dynamic. Things are dynamic. Things are not the same. Now we have the electric cars. Next time we don't know what is coming. So we just, they are not updating these things. And also the framework in which they are operating, I think they are task-based. Most people work there, they have tasks to do. And when you have your task is, okay, to do the arranging the gallery, maybe changing the, how do you call them? Those paintings.
Exhibition,
organizing the same exhibition. But what I appreciate are the visual artists. Visual artists are coming up now also with nice paintings that reflects what is happening right now, bridging the gap. So now you see the visual artists are part of us.
From contemporary to the modern, I mean, from
yes, and that's why
this paradigm shift is really critical.
That's why at Story Sigano,
particularly within institutions,
I'm always approaching the artists who do the paintings. Come, we work together, and once we make these collaborations, I'm telling you, that is now when we will go. All systems go. We will curate things that real life experience, where we will be putting in the paintings, putting our stories.
Definitely. Actually, James.
Yeah.
This brought another critical question, like what happens to those stories that are finally brought into the archive? Because if the institution are resisting to change, shifting from the traditional to the digital perspective, running a new approach to engage communities from the scratch.
Yes.
What happens when those stories are finally brought into archive?
I think when those stories are normally brought into the archives, what happens is like there's a way they are packaged. They are packaged depending on the framework of these institutions. They are packaged, which means they lose their authenticity. And once a story loses its authenticity, it's no longer recognized from the original source. So that is also another problem when it is moved from the original source and put into those galleries. Yeah.
That's how we are still having a misinterpretation of some of the metadata regarding those artifacts, the story behind, the knowledge behind are being, disappearing, tremendously disappearing. It's a great issue. Actually, the digital technology has given us extraordinary possibilities. We can digitize collection. We can create massive experiences. We can reach audiences across borders. But digitization doesn't automatically create inclusion, as you've been saying.
Yes.
What you think? Do you think can the digital platform reproduce the same exclusions that existed in the physical institutions? I mean, do you think can digital platforms reproduce the same exclusions that existed in a physical institutions?
It depends. It depends. It depends with how it is represented. Because at Stories Ghana Online Cultural Center, I believe we present it originally the way it is. Because, for example, if I'm approached by a traditional source, an old man, we get his interview. We don't alterate.
The knowledge bearers, the one we call, the one who inspired a living archive in its...
Yes, the living archive, we bring him live for him to share his knowledge within the real time and from the right source.
Yeah.
And sometimes I complement the works with some tools, digital tools, that is in the purpose of translation, because most of the living sources, most of them, they're limited to language. Maybe they don't speak English, they speak their tribal languages. So that is where now also the digital tools, they come to place, where we use the translators, we use the audios, so that we capture the content in a universal language, which is understandable universally. For example, English. I use English very much, and sometimes I try also to use Italian because I'm in Italy. I'm based in Italy, which means I'm trying also to rally the Italian audience towards my my activities, while I'm targeting the global context, which means language also is playing a very, very important role.
Please do emphasize much on what role does language play.
Yeah.
And what happens to oral traditions when they are interdigital database? Because you've been saying most of the storytelling now targeting the international language, the most commonly spoken language. However, the national language processing, it's one of the emerging NLPs among emerging technologies. But always when we tell a story within the foreign language, we may lose some of the authenticity that, along the way. What happens to our traditions when they enter digital database, and who controls the metadata? Anyway, can algorithm determine what becomes visible? If so, how do we prevent technology from simply scaring all the biases?
I think that is an area that we need to research about, because at the moment still I feel it is out of our control, because even if we can get the original source, the living cultural source, we have again to use what we call subtitles, so that we can present the information from the source in a universal language that can be easily understood by the masses. So I appreciate digital technology, because through digital technology, we do subtitles. And thanks to that, we don't alter the source. We bring the source and we put subtitles. Like also what we are doing is creating opportunity.
Yeah.
And creating jobs. If this approach is given the attention, the right attention that we are trying to attract, we are going to create new jobs. We are going to open other avenues for research for these institutions. And we are going also to create, we are going to create new products.
Definitely.
Which at the moment still, we don't have them and we don't know them. So with right approach, right attention, good collaboration, we're gonna create jobs, create new opportunities, and create new products. And maybe we're gonna improve a lot of people's lives.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good way to go as we prevent the technology from simply scaling all the biases. Thank you so much for elaborating that. Heading to the conclusion of our session, your work also intersects with food, identity, and social impact. We've seen that the food is fascinating because it is often treated as something ordinary, yet it carries memory, migration, identity, geography, and belonging. So I'd like to ask James, what can food heritage teach institutions and about belonging?
Food has a very big lesson, which unfortunately before we never realized it. But I'm happy because right now, it has become a very big topic because I'm very keen and I'm now seeing everyone is talking about this. The discussion is about food, opening doors to cultural discussion, to reconciliation, peace building. And that is now what we never realized before.
Yeah.
Right now I'm seeing even people, engineers, software developers, architects, they are writing back talking about food. So I say, like, when did we come to a point where an architecture has stopped thinking about designing buildings and is designing food?
Yeah, actually, as you keep on responding to this, let me align it with this question: are there forms of heritage that institutions overlook preciously because they are part of everyday life? Yeah, keep it on.
There's much that was overlooked before, and right now they are trying to realize. And do you know where food is the center? Food is the center of all these things. Because when you start seeing engineers, architectures, software developers, all of them right now talking about food. Food bloggers. Food blogging has become a very big profession. Food blogging is offering employment to a lot of people. So that should be an eye-opener for us to start thinking much deeper how we can celebrate and appreciate different culture, different diversities based on their food. And this one also brings back the idea of the perception I talked about before, which right now, most of us, we have realized. Like whatever the information we had before was a perception. It was not true. Then also I like how the resilience and the innovation we guys have been. Because a typical example is Jamaica. Because I personally interact with people from different cultures. I happen to interacted with...
And the Caribbean community is a fellow Afro-descent.
Yes, I interacted with them. And one day they invited me to their place and they served a meal. And I was very curious. I have a photo. I took a photo of the meal. I have it in my archive. I asked, like, what kind of food is this? They told me this is called oxtail. Oxtail. I mean, oxtail is the tail of the cow. And the way it was prepared, it was very nice.
Oxtail. Oh, yeah.
I didn't imagine myself eating a cow's tail. A cow's tail in my village, we throw it away. When I slaughter a cow,
Yeah.
that is the most useless part, according to my culture, you see. But that day, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that meal.
Mm.
And also, they served me with a Jamaican beer. And they
Mm.
were very, very happy to see me drinking that beer. And I
Yeah.
saw the happiness in them seeing me enjoying what they had
It's good.
presented to me. Okay,
Mm.
so how did they come to start eating the cow tail that is thrown away in my village as the most useless part of the cow?
Mm.
They told me during the
Mm.
colonial time in Jamaica,
Mm.
the colonial masters
Mm.
used to take the best part of the meat when the cow was slaughtered, and only the tail was left to the local community. So the local community, through many years of resilience, they adapted and started, and they did what is called they created their plating. You remember what we talked about
A
before in our
collective
previous.
memory. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
through
Mm. Mm.
resilience, they made this thing
Wow.
very nice, and the way they present it in the plate. Right
Mm.
now, oxtail has got its place in the global map when we talk of food. In Sweden,
Yeah.
there's a supermarket called,
Mm. Mm.
it is there in the supermarket. Oxtail
Mm.
is very expensive. Elisha, you
Sure.
cannot
Sure.
afford it.
Sure.
That tail of a cow you throw in your village, like, oh, I want the rump. Who is taking the tail? Nobody wants the tail. It's very expensive.
Yeah, actually, thank you so much. It shows that sometimes there are forms of heritage that institutions overlooked preciously because they are part of everyday life. When you see the parenting hood in which lives the cultural value in it, every African you see, yeah, there's something we take for granted, but when you assess it from the outside view, you really understand that it was helpful. Let's
And
shifting from representation to the participation. We've been together with the followers from here, and I want to make a distinction that is central to today's conversation. There is a difference between being represented and being able to participate. So I've dropped the question in the comments so that people may responding through what does meaningfully participate. I mean, participation look like. And heading to you as a follow up of that question, James, would you say community should simply be consulted, or should they have actual authority over how their heritage is documented? I mean, documented, interpreted, and shared.
thank you very much, Alicia, for that question. My answer will be they should have their authority because nobody control a community. And a typical
Mm.
example that I've given you is about this oxtail
Mhm.
meal. It
Mm.
was the part that has always been thrown. Many communities
Mm.
I know still nobody will go for the tail. Then
Yeah.
this brings us to the question, Elisha. I talked about the approach we have taken.
Mm.
If we get right attention, we're gonna
Mm.
create products. And I have just again given evidence
Mm.
how this oxtail
Mm.
is a product that is sold now in the supermarket, and it is
Yeah.
very expensive. How was this product came into existence? How do communities create? Even the community
Mm.
didn't know, like one day
Mm.
this thing will be
Mm.
a product. So
So
with
the
us,
community still have authority over how their
they
heritage is documented,
because they are
interpreted, and
creating.
shared. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Actually,
they are
when it comes
creating.
to the ethical considerations of digital documentation, you
Yes,
found the concern of FP, free prior informed consent is critical. So it's really aligned with this. We are trying to run with the time, James, but
yeah.
heading to the design of a child. I mean, this is where the design challenge it is. Let's imagine we are given an opportunity to design a curriculum institution from scratch. No inherited structures, no colonial classifications, no assumptions about the audience, about who the audience is. What would you put into the architecture from day one to make belonging possible?
Thank you for the question again, Elisha. I think
Mm.
that's a good question. And the question is already answered by the project that me and you we share the vision. The first
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
I'll put the community in perspective.
Mm.
And how do I do this? I'll do this not by consolidating or centralizing
Mm.
things. No, this thing I'll put community into perspective.
Mm.
Everybody is involved. We will define clear roles. We will identify what belongs to
Mm.
this system.
Yeah.
And if it is within your environment, we won't shift it, we won't carry it and put it, this carrying and shifting things and putting them in another place, that is now
Mm.
where the things go wrong, where
Mm.
the people start feeling sidelined. Because if
Yeah.
this
James,
thing
as you're
will,
responding to this,
yeah,
eh, thank you. You started it very well from what you've responded to the institutions that people are brought up. I think as you're responding this, think about governance, technology, language, accessibility, ownership, storytelling, and educational, and of course, economic participation.
yes. So in that perspective, I'll talk of communal ownership. Communal ownership is we're going to
Mm,
define our roles,
mm, mm,
and we're going to define our roles, and also we're going to define what is our limits. And also, there is also the exercising of giving people the freedom to be creative. We're gonna give everybody space to be creative as much as possible, accommodate everyone's idea, and also create an hierarchy
mm.
where there is no monopoly.
Particularly for decision making.
Yes, and through that,
Oh,
you will we're gonna tap something that has never been
mm,
tapped before. The problem is monopoly, and also not giving people space to be
yeah,
creative.
yeah.
There is that the I know everything mentality, and that is the problem that we are facing right now. And that's
Mm,
why I say I meet a story that is my story written from another person's perspective, because the person
mm,
believes to know much than I know. So he can create my story because he
mm,
knows.
mm.
That is the wrong approach of things. And I don't know how we
Yeah.
can change that, because that's where we are stuck. And
Mm.
hopefully things gonna change for the better as we move on.
Definitely. Thank you so much, James. Actually, drawing from a Kinyarwandan word iraje, which means inheritance, I came to realize that where you inherited, it's not only something, you don't took it as it is and pass it to the next generation. Sometimes you do create, you ameliorate within the perspective, keeping its authenticity, however, within a transferable manner to the next generation. And from that Iraje as inheritance, we choose within the fifth aspiration of Africa, I want Agenda 2063, that emphasizing in Africa with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, shared values, and ethics. We came to realize that IRAGE may be an acronym for innovation for regenerative African generation excellence. And through the Digital Heritage Preservation Platform, we think increasingly about heritage, not simply as something to be stored, but as something people should be able to discover, learn from, experience, and connect it through. So I want to ask you, James, What should the next generation of digital heritage preservation, the next generation of digital heritage platforms do differently from traditional cultural institutions?
I think what I would propose
Mm.
is capturing things within a real living real life experience,
Yeah.
where we don't archive past
Mm.
things that happened in the past. Things that happened in the past, they are good because they shape our today, and also they
Mm.
try to foresee the future.
Yeah.
But now we are living in a dynamic world. Things are
Mm.
changing very fast.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I won't support something static. And what I said before, people should be given space to be creative.
Actually, from that notion, you may be responding the same to, should communities be users of these platforms, or should they be co-designers, or should they be co-designers and custodians?
They should be users of these platforms, and they should
Mm.
be given their space to express themselves to the best way possible. They should not be
But
dictated on
mm,
what they should do. They should, we should just appreciate them and
mm,
also observe. When we
mm,
sit back and observe and give them space, and within
mm.
also this institution that has been established, it's
That's
not
how they
like,
become co-designers and custodians.
yeah, the institution we've
Wow.
been talking about, the institution that have been established, people have
Mm,
not been given space to be creative. There is a lot of, you do this, and don't cross this. And that is why they are like that. And people will say, I'm just doing my
mm.
job. At the end of the month, I'm getting my salary. So what's the problem? But people are very creative. You find in
Wow.
those meetings, they try to put ideas that all those ideas are thrown under the bus. They are told, we'll think
Thank
about
you.
that.
Wow, this is
I-
very
I-
amazing. You've
that is
expressed
my
it.
perception according to my common knowledge, because
We,
I've
we do we
seen.
do we do co-design with them. This is where we are a human centered within the IRAGE. A rapid fire round now is coming in. James, let's
Yes,
do a quick rapid fire round. Belonging or representation?
belonging. In
Thank
a,
you. Archive or living memory?
we need we need a living memory. No archiving here. No
Wow,
archiving.
wow. That's great.
Archives,
Community consultation or community ownership?
community ownership.
Thank you. Is and technology opportunity is does technology an opportunity or risk?
It is a very big opportunity, and that is why I'm here
Hmm.
running a digital cultural center. Which, if without that
However, it can be
technology,
both.
without that technology, I could not be
Ah,
having whatever I'm doing right now.
yeah.
I could be applying for a job maybe in a company. But now look,
However, remember that wherever the risk is, it's when opportunities it is. It may be one coin of both sides, though.
yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with
So,
that.
one institution that needs redesigning.
The museums,
Thank you. One word for the future of cultural heritage.
they should be turned into living heritage. Because according to
Insightful.
me, majority of them right now, they are dead. Some museums
Mm,
are trying by coming with it virtual,
mm,
virtual tours. But
mm,
quite
mm,
unfortunate, like the virtual tour still takes you back to the archives.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
they take you
Wow.
back. Yes.
Thank you so much, James. And this is a closing of our today's session. Let's bring our audience into this before concluding. Dear followers and the audience who are watching us wherever you are watching us from, if you are watching us live, we want to hear from you. What is the one thing cultural institutions should redesign to make more people feel that they belong? I'm going to drop this question in the comments so that you can responding to. Anyway, is that a language? Is that an access? Is that technology? Is it representation? Is it ownership? Is it funding or something else? So drop in a comment and I'll come back to you. James, let me first drop this question in the comment and so that people may keep on responding on it. Yeah. Right. So, James, we have spoken about institutions, technology, storytelling, and participation. But if you had to leave cultural institutions and the heritage practitioners with one principle for designing belonging into their work, what would it be?
I would rather say like they should just come out and collaborate with us, because what we are doing, we are complementing their work. We are not challenging them. We are not competing them. And if they come and we work together, it will just be, we are creating opportunities, and also we are opening a window to create new products, to create new narratives, to create new books. You know, it has a lot of benefits from my perspective.
From that notion you bring in, what is one action they could take tomorrow, not 5 years from now?
One action that me particularly I'd take like tomorrow with my idea, I would consider the society as a living cultural heritage, which means I will work together with the communities, and with these communities, I will be able to document what they have at the moment. Because right now we are talking about them. We have not touched the ground and they are waiting. So if I get that authority, I will make them, you know, once you make this thing formal, like a community, they have a representative. And the representative coordinate the sources, because the sources are there. I'd work with them like that. Yes, that one I could do it as soon as yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you so much, James, and thank you so much for everyone we've been together for helping us move this conversation from the question of who is missing the deeper question of why we need to redesign. Today's conversation reminds us that inclusion cannot simply mean bringing different people into systems that were never designed with them in mind. So sometimes we have to redesign the system itself, and perhaps that is where belonging begins. To everyone watching, we invite you to continue the conversation. Ask yourself, what would you redesign if belonging was a starting point? So because institutions that preserve our memories should also make space for the people whose memory they hold. This has been a living archive where cultural memory becomes a space for dialogue, participation, and possibly next week, we take the conversation one step further from the DEI to belonging ecosystem. Until then, keep questions the archive, keep listening for the missing stories, and keep making room for more voices. Your voice belongs into the archive. Thank you for joining us. And throughout the conversation, I'd like to emphasizing where like the full transition we made from representation to participation, from access to agents, from archives to living memory, institution to belonging ecosystems. And I cannot really conclude without a thank you so much, James. And I'd like you to conclude as the closing remarks. Are we designing institutions for communities or designing them with communities?
Thank you very much. And in conclusion, I would say we are designing institutions with the belonging of the communities, and therefore communities, they need to be recognized, and they also need to be involved, and more so they need to benefit from this institution that are around them. And maybe in the next coming days, we can also come with a framework how communities can benefit from all these things we are talking about.
Definitely. We are concluding this August theme with belonging first, DAI then, and then maybe within the September theme, we should seek a way to reinfuse this because it's a continuation. And thank you so much, James, and everyone who have been together with us along the Living Archive August series, particularly this week 3. And thanks for such a wonderful contribution you made. Do like to say aluta continua.
Fire, aluta continua.
Bye bye, and keep in touch, Kaka.
Welcome, asante sana, and see you again.
Thank you. I wish once we should even have such conversation in Swahili or local language to really mean that this is a living archive. So a long way to go, but together we can.
Yes, that's true. So thank you very much, and all said and done. Have a nice evening. Asante sana.
Asante. Bye bye. See you next Tuesday.
Okay, bye bye. Asante.
Bye.